Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday night. We are so happy to have you here with us tonight. We have got a really wonderful introduction to these amazing little things that we're going to talk about tonight. You see me wearing it right here. It's my glutathione. It's cold and flu season, and this is my extra defense. But Cami has spent painstaking hours on a lovely presentation on the fountain of youth. And she's going to be going into a deep dive on Allevita. And it's so much more than just skincare. So you really need to hear what that's all about. But my name is Tracey Flintoff, and I'm coming to you from Olympia, Washington. The backdrop behind me is real. You might see those sea critters out there on my float. They are giant sea lions, and you might hear them bark. You'll probably see them dive in and out of the water. But this is not fake. This is real. Pacific Northwest. Come visit sometime. It's beautiful. And I get to do this with two of my very dearest friends. So Joy Markham. Joy, you want to say hi? Joy is coming to you. Well, she's muted.
Hello, I'm Joy.
Hi, Joy.
Hi, Kevin.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
And Joy is coming to you from Maui. And she'll share her little story here with you in a little bit when we get to that. And then Cami, who's been putting together the information on the deep dive on Allevita. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll get started. So what we're going to share with you tonight, your future self is going to thank you for taking the time to listen and learn, because there's just nothing out there in the world like what this is. And what we're talking about is a wearable light technology, like I showed you here that I'm wearing on my chest. And it actually works with our body. This is natural and it's patented. This is the only company in the entire world that has this product, and pretty amazing. But I'm going to take you back in time about the harnessing the power of light and looking in terms of what can it do for our health. And some of our forefounders, Albert Einstein, predicted that the future of medicine would be in frequency. And Thomas Edison talks about doctors of the future giving no pills, but focusing on cause and prevention of the disease. And so fast forward to, however many years since their predictions, and look at it, it's here, it's real. And we're using light in so many different forms and modalities, an infrared sauna, MRI imaging, lasers, red light therapy, blue light. The reality is all of these work, those are all synthetic versions of light, of course, and they require a cord and they require dosage, and too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So what we're talking about tonight is light that the body regulates naturally. So we don't have to worry about any overdosing or injury or issue. It's all natural. But before we get started, I just want to give a disclaimer that what we're talking about tonight with LifeWave are patches that are classified in the holistic wellness category with the FDA. So this is not a medical device. And if it were, you wouldn't be hearing about it from us. You would have learned about this from a pharmaceutical rep that would have educated your doctors. But this is a different kind of company. This is a company about keeping the product accessible to the masses and affordable for the masses. So no big pharma involved. And Joy, Cami, and I, we are not medical professionals. We're not going to be diagnosing or treating any medical conditions. At the end, we are going to take question and answer, and we can help you in our responses in terms of generalities, but we can't give you specific diagnosis for compliance reasons with FDA and what have you. But we always encourage people to consult with your doctor regarding any particular things you might have going on with you. Any medical treatments, we recommend you always work with your physicians or care providers. But what we're talking about tonight is the repair cells of our body. And those repair cells are how we begin in utero. One single cell becomes the blueprint of the body that we become. And when you're born, you're full of these. And that's why these little babies, they can make it through flu and cold season and usually not have any issue. Kiddos, they fall down, scrape their knee, they can be healed in, a day or two, 3. The bruises go away almost overnight for them. But the reality is, as we age, the number of those repair cells diminish. And when we are age 35, we are down to only half of those repair cells. When we are age 60, which I'm 1 year away from, I am down to less than 10% of my repair cells. So it's no surprise that after age 40, we start having issues and our bodies just are not regenerating and repairing like they used to when we were younger. And maybe our sleep is interrupted. Maybe we walk into a room and we don't remember why. But it's these little amazing repair cells, which we're going to spend a lot of time on tonight, that make such a difference. And really looking at stem cell technology out there, we're forced really to go out of country for the very best ones. The best ones are called pluripotent. We can't get those in the US anymore. You can go down to Panama, you can go to Greece, Germany. Some countries around the world still allow that type of a stem cell. But the reality is you would be injecting somebody else's DNA into your body. And that's not always a great thing. Sometimes we have rejection, or maybe we don't get the result we want, and they can be temporary, but they are very expensive. I know Tony Robbins recently went to Panama and had his shoulder injection. It was about $35,000 for him, and he's had many of them. And he says they last him about 5 years. Be doing that again. Not everybody has Tony Robbins kind of money to go do that. And again, they're not always effective, but we in the US, we do have PRP injections. Those are invasive. They can be very painful. I've had some people tell me they did their first injection, was too painful, they wouldn't do the other two. And you are not always getting the very best repair level. What we're going to talk about tonight is how you can activate your own stem cells to repair and prevent whatever you've got going in your own body. But before we get into that, I just want to give you an idea of how does this work? Because it sounds, I know, too good to be true. We let these sit on our counter for 2 weeks before Eric would ever put this on his body because he kept rolling his eyes. This could not be possible. How could this be? But light is used in health all the time. Vitamin D3 is really a result of sunlight triggering a bioresponse in our body. And this image on the left is showing that sunshine hitting the skin tells the body to do a synthesis process that tells this body to make vitamin D3. This is very similar to what these patches are doing. And on the right side here is an image of bioluminescence. And you can't see it to the naked eye, but you can if you watch somebody in night vision goggles. It's that outline around their body that is the radiant glow that these patches are reflecting back into our body to repair and regenerate. So like I mentioned, these are patented. It activates a peptide in the X39. That's our flagship, most amazing holy grail of health product. But what it's doing is it's raising a peptide in your body. It's called GHK copper peptide. It's body heat activated, and it's reflecting that infrared light back in the body. We wear these for 12 hours on and 12 hours off, and then we repeat daily. We do have to drink a lot of water with these. Water is very critically important. But we have come to my favorite part of our time together tonight, and those are our testimonials. And so Ceitci, if you would like to unmute yourself and share your story with us and tell us, how did you learn about these? What were you dealing with? What patches did you use, and what are you noticing now?
Thank you so much, Tracy, for inviting me, and hello to everyone. So yes, my name is Ceitci, and originally from Bulgaria, but I live in the States at the moment. And 2 years ago, in the end of 2023, actually, well, 2022, I'm sorry, I end up having a major shoulder back pain that was connected to nerve damage, as well as not being able to lift my arm past this state here without any pain. So if you guys are seeing me on the screen, any kind of rotation anywhere on my shoulder, it was extremely painful, and then it ended up inflaming the nerve in the back lower area underneath my shoulder blade, to the point that 7 weeks into it, I could not move out of bed. I mean, it was excruciating, shooting pain into my body. So I was given these patches, actually the Ice Wave and the X39 by a friend of mine in Washington State when I was visiting. I had put on the Ice Wave for just a couple of minutes. She said, if you put it on, let's see if it works. And if it works, I'll give you several more. And literally, I wasn't expecting anything. I was thinking I've been living with this pain here for several months, so it's probably going to continue on. And while I'm talking to her, not even 2 minutes into it, I felt like I have no pain all of a sudden. I can move my shoulder. And so I said, oh my gosh, this is actually working, like something is happening. So she gave me several until I got back to Oklahoma. And then I ordered the Ice Wave patches and the X39, and I started applying it. Well, my shoulder improved, and that's when the shoulder blade got really bad. And so I started putting them back on because of finances. I didn't use them all the time. So I used them until the pain left, and then I was good. And then a couple of months into it, I had this major fiasco going on. So long story short, 7 weeks into this major pain, I started putting them back on, and I can't even tell you, not even a week into it, I was back up and moving and walking without the pain. And so now it has been over, well, since last July, August, and I haven't had any kind of reoccurring pain, no shoulder problems. I lift a lot of stuff when I travel, so I haven't had any of that. And then I apply these Ice Wave patches when I travel on long international flights, and they really help my lower back not to have that kind of a intense pain in my muscles as well. So I'm really thankful to discover that and to be a part.
Wonderful. Ah, we love stories with pain goes away. And
Yes,
the beauty
yes.
is you repaired that at the cellular root cause of that pain. You didn't just
Yeah.
mask it with a
Right.
prescription or something. So odds are you're not going to have to deal with that again, especially on
Yeah.
those long flights. I feel your pain. We have an amazing combination of patches that help with jet lag. So if you ever are interested in that, I can help explain that to you. But
That's
amazing
awesome.
game changer for those long flights. So thank you, Ceitci. We so appreciate you sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And Joy, would you like to share about what you went through with your traumatic brain injury? I know we have a couple people tonight who were interested specifically on brain repair.
Yes. So almost 7 years ago, I slipped and fell on ice on my driveway and got a concussion. And I damaged my processing center. So data in and out was difficult. I would have terrible sensory overwhelm and hangovers. And I did all kinds of modalities. I went to rehab, did neurochiropractic, neuropsychology, or optometry. Sorry, there's like some construction going on right now here. So I don't know if you guys can hear the beeping, but just shutting a door. Anyway, neurochiropractic, massage therapy, vision therapy, all kinds of things trying to get my brain to heal. And I still, after 5 years, was not able to drive, was not able to look at electronics bigger than my phone, was not able to work, and would get terrible sensory hangovers and sensory overwhelm, where I would be in bed the next day after I was around too many people or exposed to too much light or noise. I'd go into shock with loud noises. And my friend Tracey gave me some patches, and they look like a Band-Aid, and I'm technical. And I had gone as chemical free and organic as possible, trying to get my brain to heal. I'd done multiple detoxes, used essential oils and vitamins and different things. And I knew how absorbable skin was. And I wasn't going to be putting chemicals into my skin. And so Tracey would send me testimonials, and she'd send me educational videos, and then she would hold me hostage when she would take me to appointments, and she'd be playing different things in the car. And it took her 6 weeks to get me to try them. And I had gone to a new brain injury rehab, had a bunch of testing, realized he wasn't going to be able to help me as much as possible. The next morning, I was staying with Tracy, and I had decided I was going to start using the patches. I woke up, felt terrible, had a terrible sensory hangover. My head hurt, my whole body hurt. I had nausea, I had brain fog, and my pain level was at a 7. And I put a patch on my C7 here, an X39 patch, and I could feel like light fingers going up my neck and tingling in my head. And 45 minutes later, my pain level was at a 3. And I was like, oh my goodness, these things work. And that night, it was March 8th, 2022. I was able to actually go out to dinner with Tracy and her family. It was her son's birthday. And I had not thought I was going to be able to do that because things like that were difficult. And I had felt so terrible in the morning. The next day, she had a ton of errands. I went on all the errands with her. A week and a half later, I was able to drive a couple of blocks to my house. The day after that, I was able to drive from my house all the way to the other side of Olympia, which was quite far, like 15 miles or so on back roads. A month and a half later, I was able to drive from my house on the freeways all the way to Oregon to see my daughter and grandboys. And I decided I could buy a car and drive it home. And so I did. And I've been going ever since. And that is my story.
I never get tired of that story because, what a joy to be able to watch that progression and right before my eyes. It just seemed too good to be true, but how true, how wonderful. She gets to live in her favorite happy place of Maui. So we'll talk a little bit here about the patented phototherapy. I mentioned it's body heat activated. It's just reflection of light. I love it because you don't have to worry about interaction with medications. But where we place these patches, as you can see in the image here on the left, these are primary acupressure points, and they are working with meridians of energy in the body. And in Chinese medicine, they're all about energy flow or qi. And so blocked energy
She's so good.
is blocked energy is pain. And when we unblock that energy, we get that pain alleviated. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So what we're doing is we're activating our own repair cells. So we're helping with pain relief. We're getting extra energy and vitality. We're reducing inflammation. Wound healing expedites. Our age starts reversing. And I know it sounds too good to be true, but believe me, it's real. No side effects. You don't have to worry about drugs, stimulants, or drug interactions, which I love that. And again, I mentioned earlier that this is patented. And Joy's going to put in the chat for you this health tracker, which we did not have when we got started in this. So many things we've learned. I wish I'd had that because I would have written down everything wrong with me. And right away, I probably would have realized that the bunion that I needed surgery on my left foot. I was an ice skater and a skier as a young girl, and I had these 2 horrible bunions. I had one surgically removed many years ago. I swore I'd never do it again. It hurt so bad. And I just decided I'd live with the pain on my left foot as long as I needed to, because I was never doing that surgery again. But it was about 9 months later, a friend asked me if I thought the patches I'd been using might help her bunion because they wanted to do that yucky surgery, as she put it, that I'd had. And I said, bunion? Oh my gosh. I haven't thought about my bunion, but I don't have any pain in my left foot. And I needed to have a surgery. And lo and behold, that bunion's gone. I took off my shoes and I compared my 2 feet and they're identical. One, I had an ugly, hard bunion surgically removed. The other with a reduction of inflammation and collagen, which Cami's going to talk to you about here on that alleviated deep dive. I know that patch is very responsible for me avoiding that surgery. So I highly recommend that one. But these patches were developed 20 years ago for the U.S. Navy SEALs down in San Diego. They ended up in the hands of some pretty fantastic athletes who I believe these patches took their game to a whole nother level. Michael Phelps being the first when he won all those medals in Beijing, he was wearing these. David Beckham, he likes them up at his chest here on the upper part of his body. Serena and Venus Williams, they like them on the wrists. Tom Brady wears them all over his body. But they went beyond just targeting celebrity athletes when David Schmidt, our owner and inventor in 2019, created X39. And for the first time ever, we can activate our own repair cells to make major change in our body. And what is interesting to me about this is how incredibly powerful these are, even though we might not notice it right away. And I will have some people who want something specific to happen in their body, like, maybe their big toe pain or a knee, and they may not get it right away. But this is bigger than that. Just think, keeping you alive. Those cells that began life in utero have the ability to make your life better and keep it and preserve it. But the first few days, about 4,000 of our genes are reset to a younger age. That's like gene whispering. That's huge. So if you are on a trajectory of, maybe cognitive decline runs in your family and you think you're destined to get it, well, guess what? Game changer. As soon as you start wearing these patches, and if that happens to be one of the genes that rechanges for you and goes back to a younger age, perhaps you get to skip that journey that maybe some of your ancestors had to, deal with. 1 to 3 months, our bodies start showing physical, mental, and emotional changes. 3 to 6 months is when we start to get into that repair phase. And if you're not using these consistently every day for those 3 to 6 months, you don't reach that. And I'll have some people who might wear them for a week on and 2 weeks off. You end up starting over. So keep that consistency. But the longer you wear them, just the more things you start noticing different and improving. We get into that regenerative medicine phase about 6 to 12 months in to using them. And we're going to show you some pictures in a few minutes that will help you envision what does that look like when we regenerate. But our friend Marcy, who you'll see in a minute, has put together a really great website, because you're not going to remember everything I share with you tonight, nor do you need to. There's this awesome website, though. You can go to startx39now.com. And if you have a friend somewhere around the world, you can share this website and they can go learn. I love the science community section. Age Reversal with GHK is talking about different things that change and get improvement with that peptide. Lungs. My mom had an amazing result with hers. She'd been on a sleep apnea machine for about 7 years. This summer, she had a new sleep study, and her pulmonologist looked at her and said, I don't get to tell many 79-year-old people who are diabetic like you that your numbers have improved so much you no longer have sleep apnea, but I'm telling you that. So she got to discontinue that machine. How cool is that? Anti-fast growing cells, this is amazing, huge, because when we're young, we tend to not have that because we have bioactive compounds. We have things that help prevent and inhibit the growth of those fast growing cells. I love the last bullet point, though. 84 genes get reset to inhibit those fast growing cells. Sign me up for that all day long. After 6 weeks of wearing the patch, they did a cardiovascular study, and they noticed that on average, those participants reversed their cardiovascular age by about 8 weeks. So that's a pretty big deal. You put on what looks like a Band-Aid, and it helps your cardiovascular system operate younger. So for every day you wear it, that's making your system about a day and a third younger. That's just looking at the heart, just one study. There's many studies. There's over 90 clinical trials done all around the world. There is also a brain health study that I love, because people who are dealing with cognitive decline are usually dealing with inflammation, heat in the brain. And they did a study with a lot of people. And what you see here is the heat mapping thermography imaging of a 77-year-old woman with dementia. And in session 1, that's her baseline. So that is showing where she has that inflammation. So think of inflammation in the brain as swelling, putting pressure on blood vessels. And 3 weeks in, her first check-in to see how that X39 has changed her brain is session 2. You can see she's no longer a hot brain. That's now a cold brain. That's changed. The body made that change on its own. These patches are just a tool. They're a signaling mechanism, no different than a frequency on a radio channel or TV channel. It's a frequency. But session 3 is 6 weeks in, the completion of that study. That woman's brain is perfectly rebalanced and the inflammation is gone. And I got to hear her testimony, and she has quite a changed life. Pretty great. Because of the FDA, we are not able to tell you a lot of these things, but we can show you. So I love to show what happens rapidly here. Snowboard accident, regenerating the skin in about 5 days. Open heart surgery scar here. That July of 2017 is right after this surgery. The middle image is Mother Nature's repair in 1 year. Look at that image on the right. This is adding X39 for 1 month. And look at how that collagen has filled that in and changed and remodeled that scar. What we're talking about here is age reversal. And you hear a lot in the media about anti-aging. And if this was anti-aging, Dr. Harmon, our friend here, who Cami's going to talk more about, he would still look like Grandpa Dude, right? Anti-aging, he would have stopped at the age he is. But what if you're not the age you want to be and you want to look and feel younger? That's the cool thing about these patches. They do that. And this was him 14 months later. That hair color is natural. He has regenerated, but it's not what you see on the outside that's so important. It's the inside that really matters most. And Mandy here, a lady from Australia, starts out, looking like grandma. She looks like the daughter, and then she ends up looking like the granddaughter. This is skin repair, and Cami's going to go into that more in detail in the Alavita. This is showing you spine and pain. So this is bulging discs on the left, and you see a degenerative spinal cord. And the bulging disc is actually that C7T1. And that is the same patient a few months later. That's all regenerated and everything is repaired. There's no injections, no chemicals, no surgery. That's the body getting the right signal from the patch to go and do that kind of repair. She'll explain more, but why. This is curvature of the spine 4 weeks later. This is our friend, Marcy, who made that website for us. And she's made it her mission because she really thought she was ready to check out of this world. She was stage 3 breast, lymph, and skin of fast-growing cells when her naturopath gave her X39. And she started feeling better. And that type of skin cancer she had, fast-growing skin cells, never goes into remission. Guess what? Almost 5 years later now, she's in full remission. The lady just keeps getting better, better, better. So this woman here had radiation on her skin. And you can see somebody gave her some of these patches. And very quickly, she starts looking better. But check this out. This is 3 weeks later. That is an entirely changed life there. And not only is it repairing that radiation damage on the external, but we're talking internal repair as well, this cellular level. And we've done a deep dive on autoimmune. So I just grabbed this slide just to help you see some autoimmune conditions that do get resolved rather quickly. Bell's palsy, psoriasis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, Barr syndrome. I don't know if I said that right, Joy. But anyway, these are big things that are toxin-based. But when we detoxify the body with these patches, a lot of these things resolve. This guy here is a friend of Cami's, business associate. He's had fast-growing cells on his skin for 15 years. He's had a lot of surgeries, and look at these changes. I think she might be doing that. So erase that. I didn't say that because I think that's in her portion. But anyway, sleep. A lot of people report deeper sleep.
So
better
good. You
sleep.
got to say it twice, Tracy.
Okay, good.
Oh,
All right,
good.
awesome. I was going to go through and delete the one she had, but I didn't get to do that. But anyway, it's also good. And I love that these are not just for people. These can be for our fur babies too. And racehorse trainers have been using their own patches on their horses for years. Finally, they decided to create a version called AccuLife, specifically targeting animals for pain. It's essentially the same as our Ice Wave, which we'll explain in a minute. But this dog on the left is near and dear to my heart because this is my friend's dog, Brutus. He went blind. And I told my friend Terry, don't throw away your used patches. Let's put them on Brutus's bed where he sleeps or tape them inside of his collar because I know he has arthritis. He's 14 years old. He's in pain, lethargic. Some of these dogs and cats, they end up acting like puppies and kittens. And lo and behold, he did. And then I told her I'd even heard of a dog in Japan that was blind and got his vision back. And then she told me, did you know that Brutus went blind just a few months ago from diabetes? I didn't know that. But look at that dog's white frosty eye. There's no pupil there. That other picture is the same dog a week later. She called me and we cried. That was a life change. That little dog. has a great life. So I'm now going to turn it over to Joy, and she's going to walk you through patching combinations. Or actually, no, this is still my part. I'm sorry. So we can combine these patches, and for me, this is better than Botox. And I'd never recommend anybody put botulism, especially in their face near their brain. That's a toxin. We don't want those things in our body. This company works hard to detoxify, but look at the changes. The décolleté here very quickly, and combination. I love this one. This is a knee bone on bone. And this is a recommendation. Now, we're not making any diagnosis here. We're not telling people, but we have heard of people using these combinations and having such radical reduction in pain that some people have chosen to postpone and maybe even cancel some big surgeries of the knees and joints. So X39, carnosine, Joy will talk to you about. Eon is an anti-inflammatory. Pretty great. To get that cartilage to regenerate, you do need to add a couple components to your body's ability to make change, and collagen is really important, and vitamin C, and that ester C is David's personal favorite. So now this is the part where I turn it over to Joy.
Hi. We have the X39 patch, which helps produce GHK copper peptide in the body. And Dr. Lauren Picard studied GHK copper peptide and all of its amazing things that it can do for us. One of my favorite things is that it actually wakes up and helps your body make pluripotent stem cells, which pluripotent stem cells are the master healers of the body. So that's the X39 that the company has. X49 helps our bodies to our organ function, helps build change fat to muscle faster, helps recovery if you exercise or are a performer in sports, helps with bone density, helps with men's hormones, with testosterone, and then also helps on a cellular level protect against EMF exposure. Next. Our Eon is an anti-inflammatory. It also is a stress relief patch. And we recommend that everybody start with the X39 and Eon combination, because our bodies, most of our bodies anymore, are full of inflammation, excess inflammation. And in order to get the most out of your X39 stem cell regeneration, you need to have less inflammation in your body, or it will go towards working on that inflammation, and inflammation can actually kill stem cells. And so we recommend that everybody start with the X39 Eon combination. And that just works better. And then also we don't want to cause the body to go into detoxing too fast. All of the patches have some detoxing effects, and if your body detoxes too fast, it can make you not feel the best. And so we just recommend that you try the X39 and the Eon combination to begin with, and then move on to other things if you need them, depending on what your goals are. The Ice Wave actually helps with pain. It does not heal. It is not a healing patch. What it does is it blocks the nerve signal for pain, and it allows your body the chance to heal. So pain takes so much energy. It takes so much energy when we're in pain, and makes everything more difficult. The Ice Wave will allow your body more chance to heal, and it can focus on healing as opposed to trying to deal with the pain. Carnosine, that is my favorite patch, I believe. I will always use the X39. The carnosine was the second patch I used. I was very technical. I started them one at a time. Carnosine, when I used it, I actually felt like my head was pressurized and my ears and my jaw popped. And it gave me the most clarity of thought. That was the first day. Okay. It gave me the best clarity of thought, and my brain fired at such a rapid speed. It was amazing. I was just like, oh my goodness, my brain is just like out of the mud. And it was just awesome. It also helps with so it helps with brain health. It also helps with organ function, and can also help with our muscles and tendons, and different things like that. Glutathione, we produce carnosine in our body as well. This just ups how much our body is producing. Glutathione, our body produces that. It is a master antioxidant. It is also a master detoxer, and it helps our body to get rid of the toxins that we have and expel them. One of the things about toxins is our body gets them encapsulated in fat. When we're not able to expel them, we have three chimneys where we have our urinary excretory, we have our skin, and we have our respiratory system. If it's not able to get rid of them in that way, in order to protect us, it will encapsulate them in fat and protect us, and you will not be able to lose that fat until you get rid of those toxins. Energy enhancer, that was actually the first patch that LifeWave had. It is a 2-patch system, and it helps change fat into energy. And burns an extra 300 to 600 calories. There are quite a few sports performers that have used them. Michael Phelps in the Olympics used them when he won the gold medals. Serena and Venus Williams use them. Tom Brady attributes being able to perform at such a high level to using the patches. SP6 helps with balancing hormones. It helps with addictions and cravings, and helps just get your body to a level of homeostasis. Silent Night, when you wear it regularly, it helps ramp up your body's own production of melatonin, and helps you to get better night's sleep. And also melatonin does other things in the body as well. I know that there are some studies that show that it helps with anti-fast growing cells and different things like that. Alleviated is the second most powerful patch that LifeWave has, and it actually helps promote collagen, helps to
Actually, Cami will be going into a deep dive on that.
Cami is going to go into a ton on this because that is what our focus is right now. But anyway, in order to purchase, if you do retail, it is $149.95 for 30-day supplies, but that is not how we want to have anybody do it. We want to have people buy wholesale. So it's kind of like a discount at Costco. And X39 and X49, this is the pricing for them. They're $99.95 wholesale. And then retail prices for the supportive patches are $79.95. But again, we'd like to have you do wholesale, which ends up being $49.95. And if you buy 3 of them together, then you can get that pricing. In order to maximize your patch benefits, you wear them 12 hours on, 12 hours off. If you marry them to some other thing that you do every day, like brushing your teeth, then you can remember to put them on, take them off, and it just kind of helps so that you'll get more in the routine. It's super important that you drink half your body weight in ounces of water per day. Anything that you drink that is not water will go towards an extra amount. So you drink 8 ounces of coffee, you need to add 8 ounces to the 50 ounces, or 75 ounces that you normally would need to drink. They also work better if you eat better foods, take bioavailable vitamins, exercise, and get enough sleep. Sleep is when our body detoxes and heals, so it's super important. And they also, some of the patches help with that. I know that I used to need 9 or 10 hours of sleep before I started using any of the patches. And when I started using the X39, I was able to wake up after 7 hours because I was getting such better quality of sleep without an alarm, and felt great. So right now, we just, the company changed a little bit of the packaging, and we have 3 packages, wholesale packages. The core is for an individual, generally speaking, and you get 3 points to use. The X patches, X39, X49 patch, are 1 point each, and then all of the supported patches are half of a point each. The advanced is 6 points, and we recommend that for 2 or more users. And then the premium is for if you have a large family, or if you are wanting to do some retail or share with friends, family, or a health care practitioner. Next. Right now, we have a special where if you buy any wholesale pack, you can get a free X39 pack free, which is an amazing deal. So you can pay $2.95 and you get 4 points right now instead of the 3 points. And that is just phenomenal, phenomenal.
And that goes through this Thursday.
Yeah, it goes
It
through
got
this
extended.
Thursday.
Our friend extended it just for our little group because she loves us so much.
Yeah. So anyway, please get back to whoever invited you to this, or at the end of this, we will be helping you to put together a pack if you would like, or if you have any questions, you know, we'll help you figure out so that you can get back to whoever invited you and get you your stuff. We are not able to the company is not able to advertise because of the FDA regulations. We are a wellness product, and we get a thank you check from the company for helping other people to know what different things might work best for them, and help spreading this by word of mouth so that you know, everybody is available to get this, and it doesn't get stuck in pharmaceutical industry or somewhere where it's regulated and not able to be available to everybody. We have weekly patching podcast schedules. We do this every Tuesday night at
6 o'clock.
6
o'clock Pacific time.
Or 6 o'clock Pacific time. I'm sorry. I am in Hawaii, so it is 3:45 here. So 6 o'clock Pacific time. And then there's also some other patching podcasts that happen at different times. There's actually every day of the week, I believe, different podcasts, and you can go to thepatchingpodcast.com to find those. Also, every Wednesday night, Marcy does a Zoom from 4 to 5, and she also does a drawing during that. A lot of times, where if you're a new person and not a brand partner, then you can win patches. So we have figured out what we want to be as we get older. We want to be younger, and I can tell you, in the little over 2 years that I've worn the patches, I'm definitely getting younger as far as my cellular age, my skin. And I've had several people tell me my hair is getting darker again, which is interesting. So anyway, and I'm going to turn this back over to Cami, and she is going to do the deep dive on Alleviated for us tonight.